Hi, everybody. Welcome on board. We are one day early for Halloween, but we are going to say it anyway. Happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome on board to this Monday Night Live here at Healing with Marcus. I do these every week, and we are creating a community, a growing community of spiritual seekers who are looking for different parts of connection, feeling at home in the world, and starting to feel like we find out both our purpose and also how to connect with our soul, how to grow roots into Earth Mother, how to get to be a little stronger inside of ourselves. Because, of course, that's sort of most of our lives and most of our world has been geared in a direction of not empowering but disempowering a lot of um, how we look at the world, right? How we relate to the world. LEK, yay, happy Halloween. Good to see you, my dear. Let me have a sip of my cacao. Oh, so Halloween, All Saints Day, and Dia de los Muertos. This is a very interesting time of the year, right? And it's very interesting to see how we have all across most pagan or old school philosophies or rituals or how they look at the world. Sierras and Sunsets, yay, good evening to you. Nice to see you. So when we see many old school traditions and the new religious traditions, they are all talking about that this time of the year is a time of the year when the veil between our realities is thin. It is that idea that where you and I sit, we sit in a physical body, we sit in a what we call the 3D world, right? And yes, we are moving into a 5D consciousness world, but we are still in a physical body. We are still connected to it. And as long as we are in a physical body, we are receiving a lot of our information from our five basic senses, from the hearing, the sight, from the smell, from the touch, and taste, right? We are receiving information through these senses. And when we look at the veil or the realm of the unseen, it exists in a space or in an energy field that we can't really perceive with our regular five senses. But when we start to open up our third eye and we start to be able to listen deeper into the stillness. So this is one of the reasons why meditation and why inner healing work is so important. Welcome on board, everybody. When we have that inner healing work going on and we find inner stillness and inner silence, you may be able to go, ooh. And when you come back home and you find that stillness inside, our minds are not so busy or so caught up with the outside stuff, the noise of the world. So that when we come back home and we begin to silence down, quiet down in our mind, we sit with our heart space, we sit in our heart space, we sit in our body, we feel into our life. When we become aware of ourselves on that level, stillness comes in. And it becomes a lot easier to begin to listen, to hear, because that's sort of, many of us who sit in this multidimensional reality, many of us who walk a spiritual walk, we have a bit of a heightened ability to pick up on messages or vibrations coming from the realm of the unseen. And from this 3D perspective, from our physical reality perspective, it seems to be another realm, right? But energetically speaking, we are all swimming in the same sea of energy. So when people move on into the realm, the next realm, where we go when we pass away, we we are still connected through an energy field. We can still feel them, they can still feel us. And at this time of the year, part of why we quiet down is because everything quiets down in the fall. The spring, when we were busy planting, we were busy finding food or foraging or being alive. And then summer came, we were still busy being alive. In the fall, everything slows down, everything goes woof. And when things slow down, it becomes easier to come back home. It becomes easier to feel more comfortable within ourselves. And as we do, it's also easier, it sort of leans itself to that idea of listening more actively. It gets dark earlier. So when it gets dark earlier, we're not as busy running around. We can slow down a bit. And when we do, that's when we can start receiving these messages. Because so much of our time normally is spent being busy, right? We are busying our minds with things all the time. Our attention is going to the phone, to the computer, to our regular work all the time. But as we then start to focus within, it becomes so much easier to discover if there are messages coming your way. When I sit at my altar here, every day I call in the directions, the four directions, Earth, Mother, Father, Sky, and I call in my power animals and spirit guides, but I also call in the ancestors. And the ancestors for me is some friends who passed away, who stayed on as guardian angels. And then my parents and one of my grandparents, they stick around in my energy field. And when I sit with them, when we sit with our grandparents or our family lineage, it's really beautiful to feel like we're actually feeling them. It feels like the connection can grow stronger. And of course, it's not that we have to go deeper into our grieving, right? Oh, there's Cecilia Rollmeyer. Happy Halloween. You took the night off from the Artist's Way. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining. This is beautiful. Happy Halloween to you. So when we sit with our ancestors, you can start to receive messages somewhat clearly, and especially at this time of the year. Dia de los Muertos is that day of in the South American traditions and the Central American traditions where the dead either come to visit or they ascend into heaven. All Saints' Day is in the Catholic tradition where on the same day almost the same day as Dia de los Muertos, I think it might be the same day, the saints, which is also the dead, come to visit. And we are also ascending. This is the time of the year when, according to certain traditions, we can leave the earthly realms, and move into higher realms. But it's also a time of the year when the people who are hanging around in the field have an easier time coming in contact with us. And I would encourage you, because you're sitting here, I know that you are on a spiritual path. I know you have an interest in your inner world. I would encourage you to light a candle for your ancestors. Think of them when you light that candle. That's how I do it. I light a candle for all the different entities and energies I call in. And I think of each one of them when I do, and I always say thank you. And calling in the ancestors, the mom and the dad and the friends, the Sam and Anna and the grandmother, it's just beautiful because they come up for me every time. So I personally, when we're sitting here in Dia de los Muertos and we connect with our dead ones, also the recently deceased ones that are famous, that just passed away over the weekend, still linger, right? So it's a beautiful time to slow down. It's a beautiful time to go within. It's a beautiful time to have ceremony, to sit in ceremony, to sit in different forms of ceremony. To really, truly honor your ancestors, our ancestors. I used to have a big aversion to my family. I used to have a big aversion to the people that I grew up around because there was a lot of animosity. And as I got a little bit older and went through a lot of awakening stuff and a lot of different levels of awareness, I became aware that I was grateful that I was alive in my body. And that the only reason I could be here alive was because I have ancestors. And I am a result and an answer to their prayers for more life. So the more I honor them, the more I honor myself. The more I honor myself, the more I honor them. It is an upward building spiral where an honor is a loving honor. There's nothing harsh about that kind of honor. It's an honor where I hold them in light, just like I hold myself in light, like I hold you in light. This is part of our healing process. And when we hold ourselves in light, we gain strength, we gain power, so we can start to see our shadow side too. That's another part of this time of the year. We can start to see our shadows. It kind of leans itself to that. And it's a beautiful process. Not always easy, not always pretty to face ourselves, right? Not easy to be like, oh God, did I really do that? Did I really say that? Did I really act that way? Yep, you really did. Do I need to beat myself up over it? Absolutely not. Do I need to see it? Absolutely yes. This is how we release things out of our system. This is how we breathe into it. This is how we start to own our inner reality. And when you grow roots into yourself, so you're growing, this is one of the things we do, right? Sorry, I'm taking a little bit of my cacao here. So when we are sitting in our inner space and we begin to grow roots into Earth Mother and we feel more empowered, we feel stronger. Welcome on board. We feel stronger. We gain an ability both to see ourselves in a new light. This means we can both see the love sides of ourselves and the darker sides of ourselves. We can see both. We don't have to choose so much. We can be like, oh, I'm great at that, and maybe I have sides of myself that aren't as great. I'm still a child of the universe. I'm still a loving fractal of the everything. Just like you are. We are all fractals of the big consciousness behind the scenes. Yes? So, as we go on that journey and we begin to look within, when you grow your roots stronger into yourself, you also start to kind of use your discernment grows. Your ability to discern for yourself, to make up your own mind, to make up your own heart, to listen to your heart. That ability grows as we grow roots and we gain strength. And as we gain strength, we start to listen more and more to intuition. This is where, and it's an interesting thing. If you have not heard of The Alchemist or Sarah Ecaldi, I would encourage you to go and check out her stuff. She's got amazing videos. And she was just talking about a very interesting thing that hit me really good. Well, that I think is beautiful. And it was about this idea that we, on a collective level, not too long ago, a big part of the collective started questioning the narrative. There's been people like you and like me. We have been questioning the narrative for a long time. I've been questioning it more and more and more. And as I've seen the narrative shift, especially during the pandemic, it just, for me, became very obvious that there's a lot of unreal stuff going on here. There's a lot of lying going on here. There's a lot of propaganda going on here. When we're not allowed to question the truth, that's not truth. The truth can always be questioned. So when the collective started questioning things a few months back, the collective started having an awakening, having a shift. And then the big incidents that are happening in the Middle East right now that are terrible in nature, they came up and started affecting the whole human consciousness. Yes? At least the ones who are watching all the news and who we are sucked into it, we see it everywhere. It's not easy to avoid any of these tragedies that are going on. And of course, we shouldn't avoid them. But at the same time, what happens when we see all these tragic pictures, when we hear about all the deaths? What happens to our life force energy? What happens to our awareness? Where does it go? And what happens to the feelings we live with? What happened to the idea that before this happened, before there was a potential crisis going on, we were questioning the narrative. We were feeling a bit stronger in ourselves. We were feeling more, okay, we may have this, we may have this. And then comes this smack over the head, this big explosion. And it's an explosion that's leaving ripples in the energy field, in the quantum field. It's making us feel very insecure and very uncertain, basically fear-based. And as we go back into fear, we can't afford to question the narrative anymore. And the identifications have gotten stronger, right? So when we are identifying with a skin color or an origin, and we make that how we think we are, and we get triggered if anybody questions it, we may want to look at those identifications. When we're ready to kill people, because their identifications are different than ours. When we're ready to blow people up because of that. I don't watch the news. It makes me ill. Yes, no TV for 11. Yes, that's beautiful. That's wonderful, Cecilia. I did the same. I avoided TV 14, 15 years ago or something like that. But it's still around, right? It's still in the ether. And when we look at how this is one part of it. We look at how we're being shaken up, right? And when the whole collective consciousness is being shaken up, suddenly we can't afford to question the narrative anymore. A little similar to the idea of like a few months back, the US economy was tanking, going crazy, like we were going to go bankrupt. And now we're sending billions of dollars to help in these different wars. And it's a little interesting to see how that works. So suddenly we're not in a crisis anymore, financially speaking, and nothing really changed. So it's interesting to see how there's a narrative going on. And this narrative that's going on around the wars is similar, as in now we're supposed to be fear-based. We're identifying more and more with either one side or the other. And the anger, the separation, the divisiveness got stronger. That's the result of what just happened. And yes, there are terrible incidents that are happening. There are so many innocent people that are dying, and it's so horrible. But we are still being sucked into, our attention and our awareness are being sucked into it. And that creates what they call loosh, this fear energy that's going out into the universe. It feeds certain dark powers, and it makes us feel weaker. It makes us have less life force energy available because we're giving it away. So this is why growing our roots into ourselves, getting stronger in our connection to Earth Mother, in our connection to life itself, is so important. It's so important to come back home, to get stronger, so that when things like these happen, these things that happen, we can use our discernment. And yes, we want to feel, of course, we want to feel compassion, but we also don't want to get so wrapped up in it that we are now fully identifying and thinking that one side should die or the other side should die, which is how the narrative wants us to feel. So coming back home using our discernment is very healthy in these places. And I also would like to give this energy report about this last year, because it's been, the more people I sit with people in sessions, right? I sit with a lot of people in private sessions, and and it's beautiful, right? The shamanic sessions are amazing. They're very powerful. They really help a lot of people. But the reports that I'm getting recently, this last few months, about the amount of people who've gotten sick this last year, the amount of people who are fighting with voices in their heads, with alien attachments, uh, with energy attachments, with food problems, with candida overgrowths, with different forms of addictions, or just a lack of energy in their system, or heart problems. That I went through heart problems and physical ailments that made me have to change my diet so I could get stronger. Um, and so many people have been very sick. And there are many people who are saying that, and including myself, it started in April. And it's been going on, and it seems to be mellowing out a little bit lately. The last few weeks, it's been mellowing out a little bit. But we've been under enormous amount of pressure. And the same thing goes for the financial picture of our world. Most people, including myself, we've had such a hard time lately. And it doesn't matter if I talk to people with a lot of money or with no money. Everybody's gone through a really hard time around finances the last 6 to 8 months. And it's very fascinating to see that, when you sit the way I sit, I get to hear how people are feeling. And then I get to kind of tap into that. And I realize that, so many of us are feeling the same way in the same time. Even though we feel it through our own filters, and we feel often that we are alone in going through this. But if we had a barometer somewhere that told us, today 50,000 people are feeling this way, we might start to recognize that, there's something else going on. And personally, the reasons for why we're feeling sick, and personally, I feel like it could have something to do with the increased EMF waves that we are, EMF radiation, electromagnetic frequencies that are being radiated towards us from the 5G towers, that we are more inundated, more attacked with energy, like with microwave radiation for the last 3 years than we've ever been before. During the shutdown and the lockdowns, when I was driving around a little bit on the freeways here in LA, the only people who I saw that really were working were the people building the 5G towers. Those were the only things that were going up around the highways and around everywhere in the city. So, and now we've been under that energy attack for about 3 years. And I believe that is affecting our immune system. I believe that we don't see it, right? But personally, I can hear it. I hear this tone that I didn't hear before the lockdowns. And they rolled out 5G at the same time as we had the lockdowns, right? So, we can see that there are many things going on that our immune system previously could handle. But now it seems like we have a harder time with it. And I'm not saying that to scare us. I'm not saying that to make anybody feel bad. I am saying that if you have gone through a hard time, just know you're not alone. Know that this year, at least since March or February, has been very difficult for a lot of people. And it seems like we're coming towards sort of an end of it. It seems like the energy is like it's been fluctuating a lot, but we are still awakening, right? And especially people who are sitting here, you and I, who are listening to these videos, who are interested in your inner reality, who are interested in the spiritual realms of our world. We are standing such a good chance at continuously growing in power, in inner strength, in growing into a sovereign state. And a sovereign state is when we start to realize, oh my God, I am not less than and I am not more than anybody else. But I'm absolutely not less than. And that is an interesting state to move towards, right? It's an interesting state. Level of freedom, level of insights, level of realizing. Cecilia wrote, my spirit has been telling me this year, yeah, you're grounding every day. Absolutely. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Our spiritual work, the more intentional we get with it, and the more we sit with it, and the more we listen within, the easier this stuff gets, right? But it's still, for a lot of people, it's been a rough year, for sure. Many people have had illnesses come up, mystery illnesses, things that are coming out of the blue. Yeah, a lot of things have been coming up. So, but we are counteracting that by checking in with ourselves, by coming back home, by coming into our hearts and healing from the inside and out, but also growing stronger. Because we are reconnecting to roots, right? So when you reconnect to your roots, we start to understand that nobody really has a right to tell you what to do. That nobody really has a right. That our government is actually hired by us. They're put in place by us. They're not really meant to tell the whole world what to do. Nobody really gave them that mandate. They took it. Nobody gave it to them. We are sovereign, free individuals. And yes, we work as a society, but we do it from a sense of responsibility and inner love, both for yourself and for the community, not from a sense of you have to do this because everybody else are doing it. That's not a healthy space. Not a healthy space. So, all right. We are sitting here. We're going to see what's coming through for our healing session. If you have any ancestors you'd like to connect with, feel free to sit with them. Bring them up in your mind's eye. Interesting there. The Matthew Perry character, lovely, lovely man who passed away over the weekend. Interesting to see how he's coming up in the consciousness all the time. So we're going to sit with the ancestors and whoever comes through. I would like for you to make yourself ready for a healing session. And somebody said to have headphones on. That is, I personally don't like the Wi-Fi ones because they do give us a lot of radiation. But if you are not, like, if you don't feel it, then you could still potentially use it. I don't use them, but I get all dizzy when I try them. Tried them once, but you know, if you have headphones, they do kind of increase the effect a little bit. But the effect of the healing is very strong. It works through the field as well as it works through the physicality of the sound. So we're still getting a very big healing. And I would like to suggest to you that you just prepare yourself to go within. Take a few deep breaths into your body. Find your way internally into yourself. Feel into your body. Feel into your heart space. Maneuver your way into your system. Feel into your solar plexus area. Feel into your stomach area, your sacral area. You can say hi to your liver, to your gallbladder, to your spleen, pancreas. We say hi. With every breath, we expand a little deeper into the body. Bring more awareness to ourselves. Keep breathing. Relax those shoulders. Begin to envision light coming up in your body. You've grown roots into Earth Mother. Father Sky is hanging out above. We invite the winds of the south, represented by the serpent, to hold sacred space for us. We invite the winds of the east, the condor, the eagle, and the dragon, to hold sacred space for us, to guide us into the realm of the unseen. We open up sacred space from the north, represented by the raven. We ask that the raven hold sacred space and activate the deepest level of knowing in every part of our energy body, every part of our DNA, every part of ourselves. Yeah. And we ask that the winds of the west, represented by the jaguar, come here and hold sacred space for us. And lend us her courage into our hearts. And then we also ask that the winds of the south, represented by the serpent, already holding sacred space for us, but we also ask that she activate the deepest level of healing in our system. We have Earth Mother and Father Sky, Pachamama and Father Sky, and we ask that they come and hold sacred space for us. Hold us in their loving embrace. We feel it as gravity. Mahawakateya. We call in Stangle the dragon and Maya the wolf and Bayo the bear and Sam and his brothers. Wahiaya Mahiu. The tribe of kings and queens of old. Ombutin, her loving energy. The ancestors. The ancestors, the loving friends and family. Sam and Anna and mother and father, grandmother. We call it life force energy. The Hawaii. Call in the gods of the Norse. Odin, Freya, and Thor. And Stafner and Rathner. Woy-ya-ya-ya. Woy-ya-ya-ya. Daya-wahi-yo. Daya-wahi-yo. Dai. We give great thanks to the winds of the south, the winds of the east, the winds of the north, the winds of the west. The serpent, the condor, the eagle, and the dragon, the raven, and the jaguar. To earth, mother, and father, sky. To Stungle the dragon, and Maya the wolf, and Bear the bear. To Sam and his brothers. To the tribe of kings and queens of old. To Ombute and her loving energy. To the ancestors. To your ancestors. to Sam and Anna and mother and father, grandma, Yahi. To Life Force Energy itself, we say thank you. To Odin and Freya and Thor, and Stafner and Rafner, we say thank you. Kahiyate, Oya, Toaya, Mahiyoko Dayate, to North American indigenous deities and South American indigenous deities, we say thank you. Oi, we live on these lands. Aiya, lands of old. Mahi. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murataye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murataye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murataye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Thank you so much, everyone. Welcome back in the room. Hope you can feel the energy coming into you. I hope you can feel your ancestors. I hope you can feel the old, ancient energies that are working through you in this life. It's beautiful. From where I sit, it's beautiful. I wish you a lovely, amazing, beautiful week. Come on board, join the channel. And reach out if you have any thoughts. Thank you, thank you. Happy Halloween. Seriously, this is odd. The writing is so double. I cannot see what people are writing right now because it comes out double. Thank you, Cecilia Rollmeyer. Thank you, thank you. All right, everybody. Have a beautiful, amazing week. And we'll talk again soon. Feel free to reach out if you have any thoughts or questions. Go to my website or right here on YouTube, wherever you feel like it. All right. So much love. So much love. L-E-K. See, it comes out double. I don't understand what just happened to the writing. But it double writes somehow. I don't know if you guys can see it, but on my end, I can't see what's being written. But thank you, everyone. Namaste. So much love. And aho. See you all next week. 7 o'clock Monday nights. Bye bye.